This is 7 News, the voice of the New England.
Tonight, the Rural Fire Service urges the public to respect local volunteers.
A waste facility in Tamworth will close its door next month.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, hundreds of people to be freed in a Middle Eastern prisoners' swamp, and dozens of people charged after a pro-Palestinian protest in Sydney turns violent.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. The Rural Fire Service is calling for more respect from members of the public after recent reports of verbal abuse towards local volunteers.
Crews continue to fight fires across the state, with many chewing up vital RFS resources.
The Rural Fire Service has been fighting bushfires across the state and our own backyard for many months, containing the fast-moving blazes while protecting homes and livestock. There's many people involved in the organisation, but it's the volunteer firefighters who are brave and courageous to put themselves at risk.
I really love the community spirit that we get from it. The RFS is my second family.
Volunteers have been leaving their jobs and families to help fight blazes in places like Tenterfield and Walgett, often at a moment's notice. But recently, there's been reports of verbal abuse from locals caught in the middle of these fires.
A lot of the time it is how long it takes us to get there, why we haven't done previous burns during winter, why we haven't acted quickly on a certain aspect of the fire. Trauma is a big impact of that. For a lot of people, just smelling smoke brings some of those memories back.
There are concerns that this year's season could be as disastrous as the 2019-2020 Black Summer fires. The RFS is asking for patience and support from members of the public to ensure they can protect people and property.
I understand, people are frustrated and potentially lose assets and all that, but we get there as quick as we can.
However, for every negative experience, there's a million more that make it all worth it.
Down to Scone there the other week, we got called down there to help out with that fire, and there was a young little girl down there, and she made us a little cupcakes, and made a few of us boys tear up as a grown men.
Rex Quayle, 7 News.
Short-staffed businesses are bracing for the hordes of angry shoppers this Christmas. Already there's been a spike in retail workers being verbally abused, prompting calls for tougher laws to protect them.
It's no secret Christmas shopping can be a stressful time.
Everything's so expensive and it's all packed in here.
I don't know that people are their kindest when they're stressed out, so probably not practicing patience and just, expenses and the heat.
But for those on the other side of the counter, it can be a nightmare. Many say staff often cop abuse from angry customers.
Few people that tolerate our staff badly and the abusive behaviour.
He says the common offenders are middle-aged men who target his female staff.
If I'm here, they don't behave like that, but if I'm not here, they treat the different way.
Bracing for a busy holiday season, many shop owners have taken a zero-tolerance approach, saying you can't put a price on staff.
We're not happy to accept the customer because staff is the first priority.
Many retailers say, cost of living pressures aside, sometimes it's just the festive season itself that leads to meltdowns.
Generally at Christmas time it does get a bit stressful.
Priming her team for the hordes of angry shoppers.
We just try and do the best that we can, have enough staff so that people aren't waiting long times in the queue, and just try and get through it the best way that we can.
A survey by the Allied Employees Union found a damning 76% of retail and food staff experienced verbal abuse this year. That's up nearly 50%, prompting calls for tougher laws for protection of workers.
4 years imprisonment for a common assault, but up to 11 years if it involves grievous bodily harm to a worker. Enough's enough. It's got to change. Christmas is meant to be a time of goodwill to all. Well, let's start with our shops and those essential workers who got us through COVID and will get us through Christmas too.
Proving it pays to be on the nice list this Christmas. Phoebe Worthley, 7 News.
Heavy rain continues to settle across parts of the New England northwest region. Depending on who you ask, farmers will either be welcoming the rain for their summer crops or hoping it holds off so they can finish their harvest.
It's predicted to be a hot and dry summer in the region. However, this week there's expected to be heavy rainfall and even thunderstorms, something winter croppers won't be happy about.
Yeah, so those that are picking their winter cereals will certainly be probably not looking forward to this rain at the moment. A lot of the New South Wales, and particularly here in the northwest, winter cereal and even the winter pulses are in.
One of the region's farmers whose harvest has been affected by recent rainfall is Bede Burke. Anticipating the rain, he made sure he could harvest as much as he could.
Yeah, with the rain being predicted, we kept the headers going while it was dry, knowing that we had some repairs to do once it rains.
Mr. Burke says rather than harvesting well into the night, they made the decision to stop. Conditions have since prevented him from continuing.
We harvested till about 9:30 on Sunday evening, and we finished up where we were, so rather than try and go well into the night, but I think it was raining by about 4 a.m. anyway.
He's hoping the rain isn't too heavy and the weather fines up quickly.
We've only got wheat left. We've probably got 40% of our crop still to harvest, and I think most people are either further ahead than us or in the same boat.
One person who is ahead of the curve is Kevin Tung. His harvest is finished and he's welcoming the rain.
We've only had 19 mils out here in the last 3 days, so we've been on the lighter end of it. But, mate, yeah, it's very thankful what we've got because it'll allow us to start and prepare some country for summer crops or summer feed.
Hugh Pearson, 7 News.
Tamworth's Waste No More facility has rehomed unwanted possessions since 2019, but next month the doors will close for good. It was a tough decision by Challenge Community Services and Tamworth Regional Council, but it was made due to economic pressures.
Doors will be closed for good in less than 2 weeks. That's the unfortunate reality for Tamworth's Waste No More facility, where locals have bought many once loved and refurbished items.
At the moment, it's not functioning that well financially due to some economic pressures, which most of the community are struggling through as well. So we've made the decision to close Waste No More, and that'll be closed effectively the 2nd of December.
Waste No More is a partnership between Challenge Community Services and Tamworth Regional Council. The store provided employment opportunities and training for people with disabilities in the region. However, staff currently employed won't be left in the lurch when it closes.
Over the 4 years, we've transitioned a number of supported employees with a disability through that site. They've learned a whole heap of skills, and they'll continue to work with us in the organisation in other roles. But unfortunately, the site will close.
As they look to get rid of their remaining products, Waste No More is urging the public not to dump unwanted possessions, which will be costly to remove.
What we would ask the public is that people don't use that site to dump products there. They work with the Regional Council in terms of their collections for bulky stuff, but our site's not to be dumped.
It was a tough decision to make, however, a necessary one for Challenge Community Services.
So the disappointment lies in our ongoing training aspects for our people with a disability. But if it starts affecting and the costs and the financial viability starts affecting our other services, we need to make a decision.
Hugh Pearson, 7 News.
Data has revealed almost 1 million Australians either delayed or avoided their prescription medication due to its cost. Regional pharmacists are helping fight for change as concerns grow for those compromising their health.
Cost of living now costing our health.
You can't go without gas, you can't go without electricity, can't go without food, so medications is one of the things that gets cut off the list quite early.
The Australian Bureau of Statistics has released new data. It reveals the proportion of people who delayed or avoided getting prescription medication when needed due to its cost, showing an increase from 5.6% in the 2022 financial year to 7.6% in the 2023 financial year.
Particularly medications that aren't covered by the PBS, so things for vertigo, things for nausea, list goes on. People just simply can't afford them. They're $40, $50 a month.
Those with multiple health conditions say they are finding it tough.
Now with my extra medication, once it runs out, I'm probably spending $70 plus a month.
The wife gets a few sort of different things for stuff, and it does affect her a lot. Like, they just go up, but like everything, cost of living is just huge.
Inflation will soon play part, causing the maximum co-payment for non-concessional card holders to increase by $1.60 on January 1st, set to increase the cost of medication from $30 to $31.60 for general patients.
You never know what you might need in the future, and yes, we all thinking about how we spend our money. So yes, that is something that is concerning. and affects everyone.
The Pharmacy Guild is lobbying to bring that co-payment down to a reasonable level, less than $20 per medication. That's going to make it a lot more affordable for all Australians.
Pharmacists are banding together for the Guild's Affordable Medicines Now campaign.
They're asking us for information that is obviously de-identified, and any case studies we see or stories that we can share with them that help them build the case to the government to then bring the medications to an affordable price for all.
Until then, Australians are holding out.
It's medication you need, and hopefully it doesn't get any more dearer.
Rochelle Putnikovich, 7 News.
Well, as Christmas creeps closer, vets are urging people to carefully consider purchasing a pet as the number of abandoned animals continues to rise. And for those already with a furry friend, there are many things to keep in mind before you go away on holiday.
For pet boarding services, business is booming.
We've been here 22 years and Christmas is always busy, always booked out.
A lot of people get upset because we don't have spots for them to go, but we've been booked out since about February for Christmas.
As COVID becomes a thing of the past, more people will travel this holiday season. However, some haven't thought of where they'll keep their pets until it's too late. Precious Pets is one of many places unable to take in new animals.
I think we would get minimum 10 calls a day. Minimum 10 calls a day. I probably would suggest to maybe be looking to where your destination is for Christmas, to perhaps take your pets within that route.
Veterinarians are warning to not buy pets as a Christmas gift. Local pounds and shelters are currently overflowing as the cost of living bites.
Caring for animals is quite expensive, so the biggest issue is just because you think someone wants a pet doesn't mean they can afford to have a pet. If you're thinking of giving someone a pet for Christmas, make sure you actually discuss that well in advance with the recipient.
Another stress for pet owners is keeping their animals healthy. A severe cat vaccination shortage is being felt across the region. Vets are urging people to get in quick before Christmas.
If you're taking your pet into other areas, and a lot of those areas can have diseases like parvo, and obviously if you're taking your pet over to the coast, make sure you're using tick prevention.
Rex Quayle, 7 News.
Well, Kirsty is here now for a look at today's weather. And Kirsty, there's been a bit of wet weather about with some storms.
That's right, Nick and Maddie. It has been quite unsettled today. Hello, everyone. Warm and humid as well across the northwest as a result of those storms and showers moving through parts of the region overnight. And again, early this morning, 6.5 millimetres fell in quite rapid downpours in Gunnedah this morning. Heavier isolated showers across the region too. Murrurundi picked up 13 millimetres between 11 a.m. and 1 o'clock this afternoon before we saw those widespread thunderstorms move into the region, bringing some windy weather, particularly in the west around Moree and Narrabri. A severe thunderstorm warning for heavy rain has also been in place today, as maximums sat around the mid to high 20s and the 30s in the west. Showers increasing tomorrow, falling right across the day. I'll have a look at the forecast shortly.
Thanks, Kirsty. See you in a couple of minutes.
Still to come in 7 News, celebrations begin for school leavers.
And the Country Education Foundation turns 30.
And a little later on this news hour, the latest on the prisoner exchange between Israel and Hamas. That's amid talks of a potential truce. More than 20 people arrested while protesting an Israeli-owned cargo ship in Sydney. And former Liberal staffer Bruce Lehrman begins his defamation case against Channel 10.
Welcome back. What started as a way to help young people navigate the jump from school to career is now celebrating a major milestone. The Country Education Foundation has chalked up 30 years, and it's all from humble beginnings.
3 decades of helping young people to achieve their career goals is worth celebrating. The Country Education Foundation marking the milestone with a well-earned party.
It's a community-inspired desire to really help the young people as they were leaving school find a better career.
Born in Boorowa, the CEF has grown to become a national charity. In its 30 years, it has awarded nearly $17 million in grants, allowing young people to know they have the backing of their hometown.
It's the local foundation that puts the complexion on it. It's the one that puts the finishing touches.
Supporting them to go to university to further their education, or to take on a trade. We'll often buy the tools, or we'll pay for accommodation.
The founders say the charity's success comes down to the results it has delivered.
Meeting the people, seeing the difference that it makes, going to just listening to the students.
And they want to keep making a difference, but on an even bigger scale.
To grow into other states. We're not in Western Australia, we're not in Tasmania. We have got we're in a small way in Northern Territory and South Australia, and we just see that need, and people keep telling us about that need in communities.
To help country kids get over some of those hurdles their city counterparts don't have to face.
And I think the support from the Country Education Foundation has meant that I can be slightly less stressed about working and about paying for everything.
If you would like to know more about the Country Education Foundation, go to cef.org.au. Michelle Cook, 7 News.
Graduating Year 12 is a time for celebration for many across the state, but for some it can be a challenging time. New South Wales Health is assuring graduates that it's okay to feel overwhelmed about the future and where they may be heading next. Support is available for those feeling lost or for those who just need someone to talk to. If you or someone you know is experiencing this, services such as 13 Yarn, Brother to Brother and more are available via online chat or call and text message.
Up next in 7 News, an inside look into the making of Chalor tennis courts.
And the Upper Horton Camp Draft and Rodeo could be making a return this year.
Welcome back. The Upper Horton Camp Draft and Rodeo has been under threat after recent dry weather, with organisers announcing a scaled-back event this year. But with more rain on the way, the community may change its tune.
In Upper Horton, every cloud has a silver lining. Recent wet weather has breathed new life into their annual Camp Draft and Rodeo.
We got 2 inches of rain last night, which was unbelievable. We, up until 2 days ago, we were just going to have a wound-back show, just a couple of days and just keep it ticking along.
The New Year's event uses local cattle from the small community, but dry weather has impacted stock in the village.
People have offloaded a few cattle and it wasn't the time to ask people to be using them for the camp draft and that, but maybe now with a month or so to go, we might be able to build it back up.
It leaves the organisers in a tough spot, forced to ask locals for livestock in order to fund the sports club. The proceeds of the Camp Draft and Rodeo is fed straight back into the community. This building has been a hub for locals since 1955.
As you know, it's only a small town, but we have everything over here at our sports club. It's our cricket club, tennis club, it's our meeting place. We kind of congregate there and it's about the only place we can go to, I guess. It's our home.
If rain continues, the event will return at its full capacity. It's survived for over 75 years through countless floods, droughts and a COVID pandemic.
It's all still in the air, look, honestly. Yesterday I would have said we were just still kind of wondering what to do, you know. But after last night, it just makes everyone feel a little bit more optimistic.
Max Gent, 7 News.
The Chalor Park tennis courts are taking shape with 13 world-class surfaces and a new clubhouse on the way for locals. The project has seen multiple delays and budget blowouts over its lengthy redevelopment. West Entertainment Group was expecting the build to be completed in March, but it's now anticipating its completion sometime next year. The Northern Inland Academy of Sport has discontinued the National Primary Games, citing a lack of volunteers and cost issues for the decision. The festival was originally established in 2015 as a fundraiser for NIAS, but was postponed this year whilst a review was carried out. The cancellation is a hit for Tamworth, with the carnival bringing in more than 2,000 people every year. The Tamworth Jockey Club will have its last meeting of spring next Tuesday. The 8-race card giving trainers and jockeys a last chance of silverware before a busy summer ahead. Gates will open from 11 a.m, with the track looking in pretty good shape after the recent wet weather. Up next in 7 News, Kirsty's back and she's got your local weather forecast. Everything you need to know.
Welcome back, everyone. A broad trough over New South Wales has generated showers and isolated thunderstorms today, while a high-pressure system is dragging warm and humid air into the state. A second trough will deepen in the west tomorrow, slowly moving east and allowing that moisture to build, with dropping moderate to heavy rainfall over much of New South Wales and Victoria over the coming week. Now, as we can see, the volume of this forecast rainfall on our rain maps is quite significant for some. Most of the state could see upwards of 50 millimetres millimetres. Isolated areas, though, including for those of us around the New England and northwest, could see upwards of 100 millimetres. Kicking off from tomorrow and tonight, severe thunderstorms have been active with a warning for heavy rain issued for parts of the slopes and plains, as well as this pocket of the northern tablelands, including Tenterfield. First, though, let's take a look to our Thursday weather forecast, and it will be grey again tomorrow with that high chance of wet weather and storms developing. We could see as little as 2 millimetres, but as much as 10 millimetres right across the day. Some breezy east to southeasterlies, Armidale 21 degrees, and the same for Walker. The showers are set to continue for the end of the working week with up to 5 millimetres of rain for Tamworth and a top of 27 degrees. Remaining mostly cloudy, storms still active across the region, but mainly through the afternoon and the evening. And we will also feel those winds picking up across the day, reaching up to 35 kilometres an hour out of the northeast. Glen Innes, grey skies, 11 overnight to a top of 21. Now it's more or less rinse and repeat for our Saturday. There is about a 60% chance of showers, around 7 millimetres, falling over the slopes and plains, and quite windy as well. A little dry though for the tablelands, no more than around 1 or 2 millimetres. As we can see, overnight temperatures very warm though. The cloud overnight trapping in a little bit of the day's heat. Taking a look to the next 7 days, the wet weather is set to continue through Sunday and scattered showers into early next week. Certainly some wet days on the forecast and temperatures cooling off slightly as well.
Yeah, very wet week ahead. Thanks for that, Kirsty. See you later.
And that is all we have time for tonight. Thanks for watching. You can always catch up on our website, of course, at 7plus.
Right now, though, Dan has your national news. Have a lovely night. See you again tomorrow night from 6 o'clock. We'll see you then.